You're watching News Central now on News Central Television with me, Blessings Mosugu. The top stories at this hour. All eyes on the Plateau today as the electorate vote in the state local government election. INEC commits to release Edo governorship election materials to PDP for inspection. Kenya lawmakers vote to impeach Deputy President Gachagua. We have the details in a moment. News Central now at this hour begins in north-central Nigeria, where residents of Plateau State are today going to the polls to elect officials who will steer the affairs of the local government areas. The Plateau State Independent Electoral Commission, PLASIEC, had earlier declared that the local government election in the state today will change the negative narrative of the council poll in the state and Nigeria as a whole through credible elections. As part of preparations for the local government elections, the state government declared Wednesday a work-free day on Monday. Additionally, the State Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Adesina, announced a restriction of movement across the state from midnight to 6 p.m. on Wednesday. Meanwhile, the State Independent Electoral Commission has expressed its readiness to conduct a credible local government election in the state. Speaking in Jos during the last press briefing before the local council election, Chairman of PLASIEC, Planj Chisak, urged journalists to maintain high level of professionalism while covering the exercise to avoid sensationalism. The PLASIEC boss maintained that with the Commission's voter verification system replacing BVAS and about 21,000 ad hoc staff, the exercise will be a success. News Central's Chizoba Anionwe tells us more.
Is one of the 6 model states the Independent National Electoral Commission in Nigeria selected to pilot key electoral reforms in the sector. Chairman of PLASIEC, Planji Chisak, says the commission under his administration is poised to maintain as well as surpass the expectations.
I'm excited to announce that we are fully prepared for the upcoming elections. Our readiness was recently tested through successful mock elections held on September 28, 2024 across 6 selected local government areas in the 3 senatorial zones: Wase, Shandam, Pangshin, Mangu, Riom, and Jos North. I am proud to share again that PLASIEC has signed a memorandum of understanding, MOU, with the state tertiary institution for the display of voter register across 4,989 polling units in the state. This is the first time in history that such a courageous step has been made. Sensitive materials are being distributed and are secured, and our logistic arrangement for the distributions are almost completed.
Speaking to newsmen on the October 9 local government poll in Plateau State, Equity International Initiative and the United States Institute for Peace said they are hopeful the exercise will be credible.
So we're using this opportunity to call on PLASIEC, security agencies, political parties, candidates, and civil society organizations and make the following plea and calls that Equity International Initiative calls on eligible voters, especially the youth demography, to turn out en masse and exercise their franchise and demonstrate resilience in securing their vote to enjoy true dividends of democracy.
You cannot talk of accountability if you are not transparent. The media, the civil society represents one of the key vehicles for us that will be able to validate whatever transparency that you are making. I think for me, that's basically what we are praying for, to have elections that can really be used as a model for other states across the country.
Plateau State Police Public Relations Officer Alfred Alabo assured that with over 8,000 police officers deployed for the local council poll and the restriction of movement from midnight of Tuesday to 6 p.m. of Wednesday, the safety of lives and property throughout the period of the grassroots election will be maintained.
Now, with these activities going on here, one would expect that PLASIEC has done everything possible to ensure a hitch-free and successful exercise. From the PLASIEC head office in Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anionwe.
Head to River State, where the state chapter of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, has criticized Nyesom Wike, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, for his comment on the recent local government elections in Rivers State. Wike, in a Tuesday interview monitored on television, expressed displeasure over Governor Siminalayi Fubara's decision to hold the election despite a court ruling. Now, Justice Peter Lifu of the Federal High Court, Abuja, had ruled that the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RESEC, violated election laws by not issuing the required 90-day notice. The court barred the election from proceeding, but Governor Fubara went ahead with it. Candidates loyal to Fubara, running under the Action People's Party, the APP, won 22 out of 23 local government areas. Tensions between supporters of Wike and Fubara have escalated since the election. Staying with development in Rivers State now, the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has said that his administration will not fold its hands and watch sponsored political thugs run PLASIEC. Now, committee arson in the state. The governor therefore assured that working with the Nigerian Police Force and the Directorate of State Services, DSS, measures will be taken to unravel those behind the recent burning of council secretariats at Ikwere, Emohua, and Eleme local government areas, with a view to making them account for their atrocities. Governor Fubara gave the assurance while swearing in 4 new commissioners into the Rivers State Executive Council at Government House in Port Harcourt on Tuesday.
The state know that what has happened after the election, we are not going to allow it to go uninvestigated. It has happened before, and after some weeks, some of our supporters were declared wanted to turn the story around. But this time around, I strongly believe with the support and cooperation of the Nigerian police, the director of DSS, we will unravel those behind the arson and make sure that they account for their atrocity.
Meanwhile, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has inaugurated a judicial commission of inquiry to investigate the violence that recently erupted in various local government areas of the state. According to the governor, the commission was long overdue, recalling that a similar incident occurred about a year ago, which he chose to overlook. Governor Fubara also noted the troubling similarities between the current situation and the events that unfolded before the 2013 and 2014, which were marked by courtroom disruptions, arson, and assassinations. The commission, which will work on a 9-point mandate, is expected to submit its report in 1 month.
We have decided to take this action to find out the immediate and remote causes of this, and most importantly, no matter the personality involved, we must bring them to book. So this assignment is a very, very important assignment. It's an assignment that, if it is not done rightly, will give this enemy of the state opportunity to continue. And if we get it right, it's going to be the end of further destruction of public property in the state.
Staying in Rivers State, following the ongoing political crisis in the state that has led to the burning of some local government secretariat complexes, some pro-Fubara supporters have said they will occupy the offices until full normalcy is restored across the affected local government areas in the state. And this is coming as the newly deployed Commissioner of Police to the state, Bala Mustafa, pledged to swiftly restore calm in the local government areas where incidents of violence and arson have occurred in recent days. News Central's correspondent Austin Azu, who is monitoring the developments in the state, brings us the details.
It's day 2 since the newly sworn-in chairmen and councillors in Rivers State, absorption of their offices was marred by violence, gunshots, and the burning down of some local government secretariat complexes in the state. Meanwhile, the newly deployed Commissioner of Police to the state, Bala Mustafa, who assumed office on Tuesday, assured the residents of Rivers State of peace and security, even as he pledged to swiftly restore calm in the local government areas where incidents of violence and arson have occurred.
We are proactively taking action, secure those places, and implement security measures to safeguard life and property of Rivers State, as well as those councils.
At the Port Harcourt City AGA, some youths were on the ground alongside some security agencies, believed to be there to secure the secretariat and its facilities.
And this day too, as you can see, we woke up with a surprising visit with gunshots. Some persons came thinking we are off guard, but we stood guard to make sure that the council is steadfast and resolute. We made sure we chased them away. Our security persons, the civil defense and the police, took charge to make sure that we chased the men. They came with 2 vehicles.
Actually, we could not identify them, but at least the state government and the good people of Rivers State know who their actual sponsors is or are. Is one man that is sponsoring them in Rivers State. And in our local government here, they are being sponsored by some persons through the one man. And his name is no other than the FCT Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
At Ikwere AGA Secretariat, a truck of the Nigeria Police is stationed at the gate, while supporters of the governor occupied the premises. New Central News crew were, however, conducted round the Bonds offices and legislative chambers.
Things are avoidable because, come to think of it, whose money will be used to rebuild this? Is it individuals that will contribute? They won't contribute money. When the monthly allocation comes, they will take money from there and rebuild this place and repair all the damage that had taken place. That money would have been utilized to solve 1 or 2 problems for the people. You and I know how tough it has been for Nigerians today. And yet, instead of going forward, we are swimming backward like a crab.
And as the women, they are gathering me here. Every one of them who did this evil will remain in their house, one after the other. In Jesus' name, amen.
Sincerely, nobody is happy. Everybody is a casualty because even if nobody died, but the Kure people, they are casualties. And that is why you see we have come out in our numbers to come down here. We have decided to live here. We'll sleep here, we'll cook here, we'll eat here. We'll not go away from here till normalcy is restored. Because we don't want the hoodlums to come back here again and cut away the remaining things.
These people you are seeing here have pledged not to leave this facility until their demands are met, which includes restoring normalcy to this particular facility you are seeing here. But how soon is soon that peace will return to this area? Days ahead will tell. In Ikwere local government area of Rivers State, I'm Austin Azu.
Now, to further discuss this, I'm joined by Comrade Solomon Lenu, the former spokesperson, Coalition of Rivers State Civil Society Organization. Thank you so much, Comrade Solomon, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me in News Central, and good morning, Nigeria.
Good morning. Now, I'm very curious to know, how will the Governor Fubara's vow to punish the culprits of the recent violent attacks impact the political stability of Rivers State? Already we see that there's a bit of a, shake in the state with the political crisis going on. So how will this impact it, and what message does this send to the potential perpetrators?
Well, of course, first and foremost, it is important to let the people of Nigeria and Rivers State know that there is a government in place, and then the actions of the governor, by setting up the panel of inquiry, will be a clear demonstration to let the world and Nigeria to know that there is actually a government in place. Because, of course, we are not a lawless society. We are a state ruled by law. We are a constitutional democracy. We are everything that we must do must be according to the books. And then for people who went to commit that act of arson on the various local government secretariat, if for any reason there were things that they were not comfortable about, I think the right thing to have been done would have been to seek redress in the various law courts that we have in Nigeria, and not to take laws into their hands. Of course, like you are showing on your screen, you see that these are properties that were built with taxpayers' money in the heat of this economic crunch that we are going through. Individuals who are supposed to be knowledgeable, who are supposed to be statesmen, who allow themselves, to be pushed by a single individual to go and destroy public properties, when we are currently having a strong economic crisis. So it is very important for that panel of inquiry to actually, be set up, and more importantly, to deliver on the mandate for which they have been given, so that perpetrators of this crime would not go scot-free, so that it will also serve as a deterrent, in the future. Because if you see today, things like this have happened in the past, and then at the end of the day, people will go scot-free, they won't be punished, and then it becomes a precedent and a trajectory that other people will want to follow, because they will always feel that they can do things like this and go free without being punished according to the law. So we in the civil society and all well-meaning people of Rivers State are solidly behind the governor of Rivers State, and we are encouraging him to get to the root of this. Let this not also, end up as a mere word of mouth where people will not be punished, because if that happens, of course, the trend will continue. So we as Rivers people, we are saying that whoever is responsible, no matter how highly placed they are, they must be brought to book, they must be cautioned, so that our own their Rivers State will not be seen like a banana republic where people can wake up at any time they feel like and believe that they are above the law, because that is almost what we are seeing today. Today in Rivers State, these actions that are happening is pointed towards one direction. It is all happening. Everybody knows that one particular individual, who has seen himself to be larger than life, is responsible for all what is happening. And then when this continues to happen, and that such individual is not called to, is not called to caution, of course, he begins to, continue in that life. And then again, more dangerously is the fact that people in other areas, in other parts of Nigeria, will begin to toe that path, believing that at some point in our country, one person might be bigger, than all the institutions of government. So it is very important for not just Rivers State, but for all Nigerians to come together and condemn this action that has been happening in Rivers State, and then join forces together to bring those people who are responsible, or whoever is responsible, to book, so that we can actually have the halt, to this spate of political rascality that we are having, in Rivers State today, before it spreads across Nigeria. So that's the situation here in Rivers State as we speak this morning.
Right. And going forward, how should the government engage with local communities to address the grievances and to prevent further violence?
Well, of course, I think it has to be through advocacy. There is no other way in a democracy that you can use to reach out to the people. I believe that the local governments, the local council chairmen, newly elected, are all prepped up, to hit the ground running. What they should do at this point is to organize town hall meetings and talk to the people at the local level within their constituents, and then reassure them, let them take the message of the governor to them, and let them know that the new dawn, beckons. Because, of course, the people at the grassroots has been yearning, for governance for a very long time. And I must tell Nigerians that for 8 solid years, there was no governance at the grassroots level. What we had in Rivers State were just decrees, by the whims and caprices, of the former governor of Rivers State, and there was no semblance of governance. So the people has been yearning, the people have been hungry for governance. So what the new administrators, what the new chairmen have to do at this point is to go back home to the people, preach the gospel of the governor of the state, which is people's first, and not just preaching that gospel. They should also act it, so that the people will have and feel the impact of governance at that level. And then if that is done, of course, in less than no time, everywhere will become, and then Rivers State will return back to the path of progress again. Because, of course, like we know, local government administration is the 3rd tier of government, which is the closest to the people and the most important tier of government, which, of course, for the last almost a decade, has been absent here in Rivers State. So they have but I think it is not insurmountable.
Okay, Comrade Solomon Leno, former spokesperson, Coalition of River State Civil Society Organization. Thank you so much for joining us in the news.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's time to go on a break now, and when the news returns, we'll stay with the aftermath of elections as INEC set to release Edo governorship election materials to PDP for inspection over alleged poll rigging. That's after the break. Join us again. Thank you for staying with us. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is set to release election materials for the September 21 Edo State governorship poll to the People's Democratic Party today. Edo Resident Electoral Commissioner Dr. Ogbom Onwoha confirmed this in an interview following PDP's complaints about delays. PDP's National Publicity Secretary, Debo Olugwagba, had accused INEC of withholding materials to allegedly cover up poll rigging. INEC declared APC's senator on Monday Ikpobolo the winner with 291,667 votes, while PDP's Aswe Godalu garnered 247,274 votes. Now, PDP vowed to challenge the results, securing a court order to inspect election materials. The delay prompted protests from the PDP, including its women's wing, demanding the return of Ighodalo's stolen mandate. We now head to the court, where we understand that an Italian court has sentenced 2 Milan prosecutors, Fabio De Pasquale and Sergio Spadaro, to 8 months in prison for withholding evidence in a major corruption case involving Eni and Shell. The case centered on a $1.3 billion oil field acquisition in Algeria. The court in Brescia, which oversees Milan's judiciary, found that the prosecutors failed to file key documents, including a video from an external lawyer that could have helped in Eni's defense. Now, in 2021, Eni, Shell, and other defendants were acquitted despite criticism of the prosecutors. Now, the court ruled that De Pasquale and Spadaro violated the defendants' rights by omitting critical evidence. The lawyer sought acquittal, arguing no rule mandated filing the documents. To the legislature now, where the Nigerian Senate has successfully passed the second reading of the Investments and Securities Bill 2024. This new legislation aims to replace the outdated Investments and Securities Act of 2007 and is designed to promote economic growth in the country. The initiative was led by Senate leader Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele and Senator Osita Izunaso, who highlighted the critical role of the capital market in driving economic progress. Other senators voiced their support for the bill, expressing confidence that it will better protect investors through stricter regulations and enhanced market transparency. In his remarks, Senate President Godswill Akpabio referred the bill to the Committee on the Capital Market for further consideration, emphasizing its importance in strengthening Nigeria's economy.
Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I respectfully rise to lead the debate on the general principle of the Investment and Securities Bill 2024. The bill seeks to repeal the Investment and Security Act 2007 and enact the Investment and Security Act 2024 and to establish the Securities and Exchange Commission as the apex regulatory authority for Nigerian capital market, as well as regulation of the market to ensure capital formation and protection of investors, maintenance of fair, efficient, and transparent market.
This amendment is very important to ensure that the Securities and Exchange Commission does its job in line with the global best practice.
One of the things that interests me is what you pointed out here, reduction of systemic risk. Reduction of systemic risk. I think a lot of people will be happy to infuse funds into the capital market when they know that a lot of the risk has been minimized or reduced to the barest minimum. So this is very good. So I thank everybody because there's really nobody that says that a bill should not proceed to the second level. So let me put the question. Those in favor that this bill be now read a second time, say aye. Those against, say nay.
And now the House of Representatives has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the CEO of Owando PLC, Wale Tinubu, and the management of ITO over repeated oil spills in oil-producing communities. The chairman of the Environment Committee, Julius Pondi, gave the directive during an investigative hearing into the environmental impact of transporting crude oil by ITO from Nembe Creek trunk to offshore storage. Now, Pondi expressed concern over Owando's failure to attend the hearing despite multiple invitations and mandated the companies to appear before the Joint Committee within a week. The committee highlighted the severe environmental and livelihood damage caused by the oil spills, stressing the need for accountability and urgent action from all companies and regulatory bodies. The State House is on track to achieve full digitization by November 2024. This was disclosed by the Permanent Secretary of the State House, Engineer Olufunso Adebiyi, during an oversight visit by the House of Representatives Committee on Special Duties in Abuja. Adebiyi noted that the transition would boost efficiency and security. Led by Chairman Honorable Kabiru Tukura, the committee assessed the performance of the 2023 and 2024 budgets. Adebiyi highlighted 43% completion of capital projects and 99% of overhead expenditure for 2024. He also mentioned ongoing renovations at Doden Barracks, Lagos, and the successful management of funds. Honorable Tukura praised the State House for its budgetary discipline and commitment to modernizing government services. The Senate has called on the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FERMA, to urgently intervene in the rehabilitation of the Shuwa, Jigalamu, and Baladega Bridge in Adamawa North, which was severely damaged by recent flooding. The motion, sponsored by Senator Amos Yohana of Adamawa North, highlighted the catastrophic impact of the floods, which have devastated 5 local government areas. In their remarks, lawmakers urged flood response agencies to take swift action to address the situation, while emphasizing the importance of preventive measures to avert future disasters of this scale.
Aware that the flooding situation has overwhelmed local capacities and left thousands of people in dire need of urgent humanitarian assistance in Krichinga, Shua, Gulag, Zuragu, and other areas of Michika local government, Mayobani Mubi North local government, Concord in Maiha local government, including shelter, food, medical care, and clean water.
Your Excellency, NEMA and the response agencies need to do more, because practically there is no presence of NEMA in my constituency, and I believe the senator that brought this motion to has made it clear. So what I will only add is more effort should be put towards getting these people back into their houses and alleviating their sufferings.
We should begin to be proactive in planning for the next set of floods. And we should not continue to be reactive. And in fact, by the time the water drains from the northern part of the country, it will settle in the south. And together with the release of water from the Cameroon dams, we expect flooding in the entirety of the Niger Delta, displacing people. So it's important that the country comes out with a Marshall Plan to cater for this yearly flooding.
To health matters now, Nigeria's Minister of Health says the federal government will prioritize the reconstruction of facilities at the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, which were severely damaged by recent floods. This commitment follows a collaborative effort to restore essential healthcare services in Borno State, ensuring that the community has access to quality medical care. News Central's Umoru Kirawa completes the report.
Nigeria's Minister of Health and Social Welfare, alongside the Borno State Governor and leadership of the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, on a tour to assess level of damage at the hospital. The 10th September flood disaster that ravaged the state left the tertiary hospital submerged, and this has subsequently affected service delivery.
We are donating this sum of 500 million naira to the teaching hospital so that you can complement your efforts of rebuilding the teaching hospital. In addition to this also, we shall partner together and then seek for more funding. Just 3 days ago, somebody came and told me that the teaching hospital was closed for about 2 weeks. He has been complaining. But he could not understand the magnitude of the destruction that the teaching hospital has. Even cleaning alone is a problem. And some of the machines are very dicey. You cannot just on electrical equipment here without adherence to some of the electrical instructions.
Nigeria's Minister of Health announcement about prioritizing the hospital's rehabilitation comes alongside the Borno State's 500 million naira donation.
So 6 neighboring countries depend on this hospital. Yes, the majority of the population that is benefiting is from Borno State and the Northeast. But we should remember also it has a much wider implication because it serves people from 6 neighboring countries, in addition to a large chunk of our country. So we prioritize the reconstruction of this hospital. From the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, with the CMD, we've been working very diligently to assess, to mobilize resources. Your contribution will be a very strong boost to all of us, but we will do more. The Federal Ministry of Health will support you as we try to get this hospital back on its feet.
The minister emphasized the urgent need for the reconstruction of the damaged centers and equipment to enhance healthcare delivery and support the well-being of residents. These initiatives aim to revitalize healthcare services and ensure that residents receive the necessary support during this critical recovery phase. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
All right, now we circle back to the Plateau local government polls, and we have our correspondent Chizoba Anionwe who will be giving us the updates. Chizoba, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, Blessings. Thanks for having me.
All right, Chizoba, can you tell us what's going on currently in Plateau State? What's the update on the election and how is that going?
Okay, well, first of all, it's been peaceful across the local government areas, 17 of them, where this local government election is taking place simultaneously. And right now, I am in Mangu local government area at Ampam district, where the governor has just been accredited, and other accreditation processes have been going on peacefully. You know, so everybody is here conducting themselves in a very good manner. The governor, after he was accredited, spoke to journalists here, and he said that he is very, very impressed with what he has seen going on so far. And then, according to the ad hoc staff here by PLASIEC, I beg your pardon, they have like 1,050 people registered to vote in this election. But unfortunately, or fortunately, but I would say unfortunately, because it's just like an hour ago that this process started, and according to them, just about 10 people have been accredited. However, the voters are, of course, on ground and patiently waiting to be accredited before the actual voting process begins.
All right, Chizoba Anionwe, thank you so much, and definitely we'll be circling back to you for more updates on the Plateau State elections. Thank you for joining us. To more stories now. Commercial drivers in Umuahia have commended the Abia State government's initiative to enumerate their vehicles and tricycles as a security measure. The Commissioner for Information, Oke Kanu, in a press briefing told journalists that the exercise is ongoing for all commercial vehicles in the state. News Central's Chinwe Ugele reports that the government has also planned to commence enforcement of the registration.
According to Abia State government, the enumeration of the commercial vehicles in the state will help collate and store the data of all the owners for reference purposes. Commissioner for Information and the chairman of the Harmonized Task Force in the state, Oke Kano and Uzonwachuku, respectively, told journalists that soon government would begin to penalize those who fail to do the needful.
The government is using this medium to ask all those who are affected by the exercise to ensure that they comply. Now this exercise is on. Before enforcement commences.
Is a process that will ensure that we know who owns and who operates any vehicle as long as it's a commercial vehicle.
Part of the reasons cited for the enumeration is to check crimes perpetrated using vehicles.
The purpose of that initiative is to ensure that crime in the cities of Aba and Umuahia is curtailed.
And we believe that this will go a long way to helping our security agencies tracking vehicles, operating, and vehicles that maybe some of the vehicles that could be used for.
Some drivers interviewed say they already accepted and submitted to the registration because of their convictions that it will benefit them in the long run.
These days, now attack is here that most of the crime now is either KK or these minibus are on here. So once they are registered, I believe all these criminals are live more easy.
Some of these commercial vehicles, they use this to steal, rob passengers and every other thing. So I think with that, I believe that all those things will be eliminated.
Though not averse to the policy, some of the drivers think government should also look into the revenue those who operate from government motor parks are made to pay for each loading.
The man our boss at the 925 and if 16 passengers, about 40,000 for every 6,500.
The government says there will be a special identification material to be issued to drivers even as the exercise is carried out at no cost to them. In Umuahia for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
Coming up on the news, Kenya lawmakers vote to impeach Deputy President Gachagua. We'll bring you details of this and many more after the break. The news continues in East Africa, where Kenya lawmakers have voted overwhelmingly to impeach Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua over corruption allegations and claims of ethnic division. On Tuesday, Speaker Moses Wetangula announced that 281 MPs backed the impeachment motion, with 44 against and 1 abstaining. Gachagua, who denies wrongdoing, has become the first Kenya deputy president to face impeachment. He's accused of acquiring properties through corrupt means, though he claims they belong to his late brother's estate. The political battle follows Gachagua's fallout with President William Ruto, with many MPs siding with the president. The Senate will now decide his fate, while the public struggles with the high cost of living amid the political turmoil. Gachagua calls the allegations outrageous and propaganda.
The results of the division on the motion are as follows. Abstentions 1. The noes 44. The ayes 281. So the ayes have it.
We now head to Central Africa, where the Cameroonian government has denied rumors about the health of 91-year-old President Paul Biya, dismissing them as pure fantasy. Concerns arose after Biya, who has not been seen in public since early September, missed a recent summit in France, fueling speculation about his well-being. Government spokesperson René Sadi clarified that Biya is in good health and had been on a private visit to Europe after attending the China-Africa Forum in Beijing. He's expected to return to Cameroon soon. Opposition parties and civil society groups have demanded official updates on his condition, while African leaders expressed concern about potential instability in Cameroon if Biya were no longer in power. Now, still in Central Africa, the UN's Human Rights Chief Volker Turk says nearly 1 million people have been displaced within the Democratic Republic of Congo this year. Addressing the UN Human Rights Council on Tuesday, Turk voiced concern over the worsening crisis, warning that conditions in DRC were deteriorating daily. He also raised alarm over the rising number of people on death row following the DRC's decision to lift its de facto moratorium on the death penalty. Turk, who visited the DRC in April, described the situation as an explosive mix of escalating violence, regional and international interests, exploitative corporations, and a weak rule of law. He added that human rights violations were on the rise, with 85% of abuses recorded in the conflict region East between June 2023 and the previous year. Now, outside the African continent, Colombia's Electoral Authority says it is investigating President Gustavo Petro and some members of his 2022 campaign for alleged overspending to the tune of $878,000. He would face financial penalties if found by the National Electoral Council to have breached campaign financing rules. Now let's join our business desk for today's business news.
Nigeria's foreign direct investment for the second quarter of 2024 has dropped to $29.83 million, marking the lowest level recorded based on available data up to 2013. This is according to data from the latest capital importation reports by the National Bureau of Statistics. The FDI figure represents a steep decline of 65.33% compared to the $86.03 million recorded in quarter 2 of 2023. It also shows a significant reduction of 74.97% from the $119.18 million reported in the preceding quarter 1, 2024. A member of the House of Representatives and chairman of the Committee on House Service, Daniel Amos, has announced that the African Carbon Market Initiative estimates that Nigeria could generate more than $500 million annually by 2030, while supporting over 3 million jobs through reduced carbon emissions. Leading a debate on a motion of Tuesday's plenary session, Amos highlighted the potential for significant green funding, citing advocacy organizations such as the Green Climate Fund, the Global Environment Facility, and the Adaptation and Climate Investment Funds. He noted
In outer sports, the Handball Federation of Nigeria have confirmed a new date and venue for the second phase of the Handball Premier League 2024. According to Secretary General of the Federation, Almo Lambu, the second phase of the Handball Premier League will hold from November 26 to December 9 in Lagos. Lambu, who made the announcement in a letter to the participating clubs, said the arrival date for clubs of a top-tier handball league is the 26th of November, while matches commence on Wednesday, November 27. Now, phase 1 of the league came to an end on the 30th of May in Benin City, Edo State, with Taj Marine Academy and Safety Babes leaders of the first half. Still in sports, 3 more players are still expected to join the Super Eagles camp in Uyo, as all 20 players currently in camp participated in the first training session at the practice pitch of the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium ahead of Friday's 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Libya. The team's base saw an early buzz on Tuesday with the arrival of 7 players, raising the count to 9. By later in the day, an additional 11 players checked in, bringing the total number of players present to 20. However, Kelechi Iheanacho, Osai Samuel and Chidera Ejuke are yet to report for duty and still expected by coach Augustine Eguavon and other technical staff.
Looking ahead to Libya's game. Not even a away game, our focus right now is the game in front of us. And the boys are ready, and we're going to give Libya a tough fight. We will fight for, for those 3 points. Every second counts. And we know what it means to get the job done and over with as quickly as possible. It's going to be tough, but I think at the end of the day, with the boys that we have and the spirit, and nobody's injured right now, they will deliver.
Now, Chelsea forward Cole Palmer has been named England Men's Player of the Year for 2023-2024 season. Voted for by the public, the Englishman was picked ahead of Jude Bellingham and Bukayo Saka, who finished second and third respectively. Palmer only made his debut for the Three Lions in November last year in a 2-0 win against Malta at Wembley, and has represented his country 9 times, starting a game twice, with 5 of those appearances coming at Euro 2024, where he scored in the final against Spain as Gareth Southgate's side lost 2-1. The recognition comes after it was named PFA Young Player of the Year 2023-2024 in August, following his superb debut season at Chelsea. And that's all on the news at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our major stories. We told you that all eyes are on the Plateau today as the electorate votes in the state's local government election. We also said that INEC commits to release Edo governorship election materials to PDP for inspection. And finally, we mentioned that Kenya lawmakers vote to impeach Deputy President Gachagua. You can watch News Central live on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Mosugu.